Hi, everybody. Welcome to ITF Late Night Live. I'm here with two players and Coach Kristina Geschwender from Sacred Heart Lacrosse. So we have Emma Fenwick, Kayla Kasprzak, and like I said, Coach Kristina Geschwender. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
As it's been for, everybody all over the place, it's been a crazy spring, obviously not what we expected and not what we hoped for. Um, Coach, do you want to kind of just explain to us to start a little bit, just sort of, what has happened with this spring and just how it's affected your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually got in, our first week was tryouts. So we had a 3-day tryout. So we actually picked the teams on Wednesday, and then we actually got to practice together Thursday, Friday, before we kind of then went into quarantine. So we've been doing things on Zoom. We have like a page on our school uses Schoology. So I set up a page on there for lacrosse to post different things and have different discussions with the girls. The girls did like a super cool stick trick video where they passed the ball to each other, which was really neat. We've done, like I said, a lot of different kind of activities on Zoom, like what 3 materials would you want to survive on a deserted island. We've done like a fun fact. So every player submitted a fun fact and we tried to guess who that was. We've played like heads up and just kind of chit chat and talked and kind of bonded as a team. So that's kind of been the main focus with everything, since we can't really do any stick skills or strategy together. So we've been kind of just bonding and talking. So it's been really cool to get to know the girls in a different way that I know I don't normally get to, because we're more focused on strategy and skills. So I think I have like a better relationship with all of them kind of now. So that's kind of a cool thing that came out of all of this. We were hoping to get a little bit something in. So they had before everything was canceled on Friday, they had extended the spring sports season for us until the end of June. So when school went back, we just needed 6 practices and we could start games. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So we're kind of working on a new game plan of different ways to honor the teammates and the seniors. So like on our Twitter page, every day will be, I made player cards for everybody. So it's just like a cool, fun fact. So they can get acknowledged, and just for the hard work that they've all been doing. Like they've all been, this has been such a great team this year. I know we all kind of had high expectations at the beginning of the season, and after kind of the really intense team bonding that we've kind of been through so far, like I know that if we would have went back, like our team would have been really successful this year. So it says a lot about the girls and the character that kind of come from them. So that's kind of what we've been doing. And like I said, we're trying to make the best of the situation that the cards that we've been dealt so far. So that's kind of what we've been doing to kind of keep in touch, keep busy. My husband and I, Derek, he's my assistant coach. We we kind of toured Western New York last Saturday and dropped off a little gift for the girls. They all wrote like something about themselves, and I put them all into a mason jar so that they have kind of just a keepsake from the season. And that was really fun to get to kind of see them from 6 feet apart, but to still get to see all of them, since I haven't seen them in so long. So that was kind of fun that happened last week too. So we've, like I said, just been trying to make the best of our situation and grow closer together as a team, which I think that they've done such a fantastic job with. So yeah, that's what we've been up to.
Awesome. And like you said, obviously it's been unique. It's been, a way to get to know the girls a little bit differently. So what we're going to do next actually is have you interview Emma and Kayla. So if you want to take it away with a few questions for those girls, it's all you.
Sure. All right, ladies. I did put together a couple questions of things that I thought would be kind of cool to talk about. So the first one is just, other than like our Zoom meetings and stuff, what have you been doing kind of on your own time to just stay sharp? And like I said, we were anticipating coming back. So what have you been doing to stay sharp and kind of be ready to return to lacrosse play?
So what I've been doing is every single day, well, at the beginning of quarantine, turfs were still open, and I would go up there. Usually me and my boyfriend would go up there, and we'd we'd throw the ball around, we'd shoot, and we'd run drills. However, unfortunately, turfs ended up closing, so now we just go to a wall that's at a school at the end of our street, and I go on runs with my dad too. So I get in cardio and stick work. Well, I try to as much as I can. But yeah.
And then for me, like as a goalie, like it's been hard like trying to get shots, but I've mostly been working on like my hand-eye coordination, like Emma said, like with wall ball and stuff. And then even though I'm a goalie, I've been doing like a lot of conditioning and running a lot more because there's not really much you can do with nothing really being open. So but I just try to get something in every time that we can.
Yeah, because like how Kayla said how it's hard like that she's a goalie, like that's how it kind of is. I play defense, and it's difficult when you don't have another person like on the field. Like, okay, you can do 1v1s if you really want to, but now without a fielder and net, it's just like really hard. So it's really like a lot of footwork and conditioning, you know, and just keeping your stick skills sharp.
Yeah, well, that's awesome to hear. You know, coaches like to hear all the hard work y'all do. My next question is, out of all the things that we've kind of done this season, what has been your favorite? So we've been a lot of out of the box stuff. So what's been your favorite kind of memory that's come out from this season?
My favorite, personally, I really liked when we went into breakout rooms on Zoom and we did the activity where we were talking about what we would have on a deserted island. I just thought it was really interesting to see like what other people thought. Like I was adamant on having like seeds to grow food, and other people were like, you don't need seeds, but you know, it was just interesting to see other people's perspectives on that one.
I think my favorite thing was probably when we paired with Little and Big Sisters when we went on our breakout rooms. And like Little and Big Sisters, our JV players will get a big sister, which is a varsity player. And we would go into breakout rooms and we met our little sisters. And it was just really interesting to kind of talk to because your little sister is the same position that you are usually. That's how we coaches try and do it. So it was really cool to talk to someone who plays the same position as me and just to see how they think of lacrosse compared to how I do. And it was fun to talk to her because she was a freshman coming in. It was really fun to like tell her what to look forward to and stuff.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we got to still do that this year in the Zoom breakout rooms, and we've never done the deserted island thing, so that was kind of a lot of fun too. I agree. How do you think this year will impact, especially next year? It'll be your senior year, so how do you think that this will impact next year?
I think especially, well, for me at least, and I'm assuming probably everyone, it'll make you realize that you can't take everything that you have for granted. So like as much as I understand that even if this didn't happen, that next year is my last year playing, but I think with this happening, I'm going to treasure it a little bit more. Not saying that I wouldn't have before, but it's just you see what's happening now. I feel like it makes you really realize, like, live in the moment and appreciate what you have more than you ever have before because you don't know what's going to happen.
Kind of like with what Emma said about like not knowing what was happening. Like a lot of our close friends who are seniors this year, like didn't get to have like much of a season at all. So like you just gotta like next year we're gonna appreciate it a lot more. Like, I mean, everybody lost a season, but obviously your senior season has a lot more weight than other seasons do. And I feel like also since we weren't able to play this year and, like, show everybody how good we were supposed to be this year and, like, how we felt as a team, we're going to come out stronger next year and we're going to be more motivated. Everybody's going to be on the same page with that. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how everyone this year has been building as a team that we're going to play next year, like with other teams, because I know personally, I don't know what any other like teams are really doing right now, besides ours. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how everyone comes out to play next year. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that because we've taken basically a season to like grow together as a team, I think that it's going to be really cool next year to see like how that translates on the field. So I'm really excited for that too. All right. What is one lesson that you took away from kind of quarantined and losing the season and everything like that? What's one thing, like if you had to explain what you learned from all of this, what would you say?
Oh God. I know that I like said something along these lines, but probably don't take anything for granted. And I know that's like what everyone says, of course, but like now you really don't. You don't know what you have until it's gone. It's like The Office. Like from The Office. You don't know what, like, you don't know. I wish someone would tell me that they were the good old days when you were living in it. Like, you know what I mean? That type of thing.
Yeah, kind of like what Emma said. Just like you always have to try your best when you're given the chance to, because like she said, you never know when it's going to be gone or like taken away from you. And obviously like our time like is winding short as it is. So each opportunity you get to play, it's like more and more special, or even just like go to school. You know?
Yeah.
Like it might sound crazy, but I would do anything just to step in school again.
Yeah.
I don't think it sounds crazy. I think a lot of people feel that way right now.
Yeah.
All right, my last question, just because I know you're kind of both involved in lacrosse and different sports with different things, is if there was like a young player who's looking to kind of get involved with things now, what advice would you give them? So maybe it could be like an 8th grader looking to come to Sacred Heart next year and maybe play lacrosse and hasn't played before, but what advice would you give them on how to better their skills and kind of be ready to play and try it out?
I think one of the things that I would say is that attitude is most important, because I have talked to girls who are so nervous because they don't think that, you know, their stick skills are good enough, or they're nervous because they don't know how they're going to play and they haven't touched it, like their stick in so long. And I just think that it's like you always say this, Coach K, that attitude matters so much more than skill. Like you can teach someone how to cradle and catch a pass, but you can't teach someone to have a good attitude. So I feel like what I would start with was that like you should probably just focus on having a good attitude, and from there you can work on other things that are necessary.
Yeah.
Besides from like the attitude part that Emma said, I would say just like don't be afraid to try new things, because like last year like I literally never played lacrosse in my life. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll try goalie. So just like keep an open mind. Like obviously the obvious things like work hard and like have a good attitude, but like I would say like encourage yourself to like push yourself out of your comfort zone and try new things, because you never know what might happen.
Perfect. That was my last question.
All right, that's great advice for both of you. So I hope if there are any younger players watching that, you're going to see that and really take that to heart. And now, as I said, or as Coach K just mentioned, Emma plays field hockey in addition to lacrosse, and Kayla plays hockey in addition to lacrosse. So they have a few questions for each other about the different sports that they play. So if you guys want to go ahead with those, that's you guys can take it away.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, so in field hockey, you guys have those really weird sticks. Why are there only right-handed sticks?
Oh, no. You know, if you really want me to be honest with you, I have no idea. I have no idea why they're not left-handed sticks. I've heard so many girls complain, like, I am left-handed in everything but field hockey because I can't, we had a player, what was it, 2 years ago that you had to tape her hands to her stick because Coach K also used to coach field hockey. And Coach K had to tape one of her varsity players' hands to her stick because she was a lefty, and you only can get righty field hockey sticks. So the short answer is I have no idea. I wish I had a better answer.
I mean, honestly, Kayla, I don't know either.
Okay. You really need to be more serious, though. What number are you in lacrosse? And not lacrosse, field hockey.
Field hockey? Oh, okay. Last year I was 25.
Okay. Good number. What position do you play in field hockey?
Midfield.
Midfield? So is that
midfield and defense?
Is that how it is in lacrosse? You go up and down?
Yes, but also no. Yes. Yeah, it's yeah. Well, really with field hockey, everyone kind of, it's they have the same positions as lacrosse, but everyone kind of runs around the whole field. So.
Okay. And then favorite weather to play in? Do you like it when it's rainy?
Yes, downpour mud bowls. Those are my favorite games ever. I love those games.
I like that question.
And then finally, what this is also kind of a weird question, but does your back hurt after a game?
Yes. My back hurts after I play 5 minutes in a practice scrimmage. They're always bend your knees and your back won't hurt. But yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay. Kayla, if you could never play hockey or lacrosse ever again, what sports would you play?
This is a weird one, but probably golf. Because it's a change of pace. Yeah. But you're also still hitting a ball. I just feel it would be calming compared to the other sports that I play, No,
I see. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Okay. If you could pick one hockey team, men's, women's, anything, and it didn't matter to play on, what team would it be and why?
Probably the Washington Capitals. Because some of my favorite players are on that team. Plus, they have a really nice arena. I've been there, and it's really nice there. So I really like that. But
yeah. Do you have any game day rituals?
So I don't let anyone else touch my sticks.
Okay.
And I'm very superstitious. I have to put the left side on before the right side. A lot of people are like that, but I guess I do it very religiously. And then I have a playlist that I listen to, I guess. And then I have to tape my sticks before every game. And the blade can't touch the ground after I tape them. It can't touch the ground. But
All right. Who influenced your hockey career?
Probably like my dad the most. I mean, like, he would car coach me a lot of the time when I was younger, and I would think it was annoying, but it actually like turned out to be like really useful stuff. And the reason why I wanted to start playing hockey when I was younger was because I would end up going to his beer league games and seeing like all the old guys fight out on the ice. So, you know, I think, you know, he's really helped me a lot. So,
Would you ever try field hockey?
no, no chance. No chance.
At least she's honest.
I know, seriously. How come?
Kayla, you would be so good at it, though.
I know, she would. Kayla, you'd be so good.
No. I just, like, I'll leave it to the people who started doing it freshman year. I couldn't. Like, I couldn't bend over the way you guys do. Like, I know it's mostly squatting from what, like, people have told me. But that's still, like, you're still squatting way more than you are in ice hockey. And that's on skates, like, literal blades. So.
No, I get that. Yeah. Okay. And then conditioning wise, which do you feel is more difficult, hockey or lacrosse?
Probably hockey, because like obviously we do our conditioning for lacrosse, but like as a goalie I don't really like use it as much.
Yeah.
But for hockey, like we do a lot more like sprints and then distance runs. Like it's a mix of both. So I would feel like that's more difficult in my opinion. Like it's not, and you use it a lot more. So
Okay. And then my last one is, besides Coach K and Derek, who has inspired your lacrosse career?
Probably you. Well, because like you told me to play lacrosse. And then like I remember like the second day of tryouts last year, and I was like, I don't even think like she would let me play goalie. Because like I could cradle with a normal stick, but I remember the first time I picked up a goalie stick, like I just couldn't do it. And you just told me like you'll get better at it, you'll pick it up, and so like you just encouraged me to like keep up with it. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Kayla.
All right, awesome.
I mean, my favorite Kayla story about playing goalie is the day before a game. We were going over like some things, and one of the things we started to go over free position shots, and she looked at Derek and was like, I don't know what those are. And he came over and he was like, Kristina, we need to go over free position shots because she's starting in our game tomorrow and she doesn't know what those are. And I'm like, oh yeah. So we like did practice because I was like, Kayla needs to know what these are.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. I swear like half an hour just doing the shots.
I know.
Yes.
And so we made like videos at the beginning of the year impersonating our coaches and we posted them on our Twitter. And Kayla posted one of Coach Derek because he's the goalie coach. And it makes me laugh so hard, the part where she goes, do you know what a free position shot is? Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. It just cracks me up. It's so funny. Oh man,
That's awesome.
Me too.
I guess going off of that, do you girls have any other favorite memories from, your time playing lacrosse together, or coach if you do too? Anything that comes to mind? It can be more funny memories or anything like that too.
Probably my freshman year when we won the championship. That was like a really good feeling. Definitely, for sure. That was one of my favorite memories. That's not like a funny memory, but that's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. I agree. That's one of my favorites too. But like that whole season is like, I feel like full of favorite memories. Like that was the season we went to Wonderworks in Syracuse, and we like did a high course, and I thought that I would do it with the girls, and we were all terrified on the high ropes course. And I'm like, I don't know why we did this. But like we were all they were like, you can stay up as long as you want, and we were like all down in like 10 minutes. We were like, nope, done.
Because here's the thing, you look at it from, it's inside a mall. It's inside Destiny USA. And you look at it and you're like, oh, it's like not that far from the ground. It's not that bad. Like, it's not like Holiday Valley where you're in the woods. Like, you're fine. And you get up there and your brain just goes, you're in a matter of life or death right now. And I just remember Lindsay Godsta screaming on the top of her lungs, and she would not move. That's all I remember. She just would not move.
That one I like because we have that one. Then we spent literally 40 minutes. Like I have 20 high school girls, and we spent 40 minutes playing with those giant bubble wands. Like I'm like, you have to give them to the kids that are here too. Like we have to share. And then after that we played laser tag, where I won because obviously.
Okay, Coach K, that was so funny.
One of my favorite memories, and it's probably not one of Coach K's favorite memories, but I remember when we were playing against Aquinas last year, and a girl literally shot through one of our defenders. Like her stick touched her arm, and she scored. But I thought it was being called for, I forget what it's called. I don't know what the penalty is called, but I thought she was being called for it. And I turned to the ref and I was like, that's whatever that penalty is called. I forget. And I started like arguing with the ref after I was just put in the game, and Coach Kate started yelling from the sidelines, and she was like, that is my call to make. And I remember it was right before halftime, and Derek came up and talked to me, and he was like, you were right for doing that, but next time let us do it, because I was about to start screaming too.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah. So Kayla, dangerous propelling is what that's called.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Dangerous propelling, which will never get called on us. That will never get called on us ever. It's always defense's fault. Always defense's fault. Unless one time I was in Pennsylvania and I got called for an illegal cradle, which I didn't even know it was a call. And like I was switching hands. Like I was switching hands to go into my left hand, and I was cradling with my left hand, and I like went back over and they called an illegal cradle, and everyone was like, what? Because I didn't know that was a call. I didn't know what that was. Like what?
Pennsylvania's very strict.
Yeah, seriously. No.
The McDowell game.
Yeah.
All right, so I know, Coach K, you talked a little bit about how everyone's kind of staying connected through all of this. Do you girls have anything to add, or not even just how you're staying connected, but also anything to add about, how you've been working on stuff on your own and just how you've been, spending your time during this craziness?
Sorry, it broke up a little bit.
It's okay. I just asked,
you spending time during.
Yeah, I know you had already kind of talked about how you're, spending a little bit of time together as a team, and you asked them, what they've been working on. So I just want to know if they had anything to add to that, or even just, how they've been killing their time during this craziness when, they're stuck at home or whatever. So,
I think that it really helps that when we do Zoom, that everyone's really positive. And it's not like we get on Zoom and we sulk. You know what I mean? Like everyone understands what happened and it's terrible and it's very upsetting. But instead of sitting there and, sulking about it and getting upset, we like get stuff done and we're all excited to see each other and talk to each other. And it's always like a positive energy.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, with all of this going on, like, obviously, like, I've been taking time out of, like, my days and stuff to work on hockey and lacrosse. But, I think it's, like, also really important that, like, a lot of us try to get outside a lot more. Because, like, even though we might have a lot of time, like, and it's easy to just waste it all away, like, sitting on your phone or doing schoolwork or whatever, it just like helps a lot to like get outside, and I guess that's what I've been doing a lot more of. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been taking walks, lots of walks. My mom and my mom's best friend who lives right down the street will just walk, and it's like you don't really it's not like even the biggest, like the littlest things outside that you can do are just, they mean so much more now than they ever would. Like, I would never think that I would sit on my front porch for an hour eating blueberries. Like, what? I never thought I'd be doing that, but like, what else is there to do? So like, why not?
Yeah.
Also, I've been baking a lot. Like, I don't know why, but just like cookies and brownies. Like, those like taste a lot better during this. Don't know why, but
I know I have grandparents from like each my mom and my dad's side. They're just like bringing in, they're loading the cookies and the baked goods and everything. And I'm like, I'm trying not to put on pounds during quarantine, and this is not helping at all. So thank you, but
Coach, what about you?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like when, so like they become my kids during the season, and I don't like when they're upset. So like we have been super positive. So most of my time is basically I figure out ways to make it better. To try to do kind of fun stuff. So Derek and I have been kind of looking at how we can still keep some traditions alive, even though we're not kind of together with different things. So that takes up a lot of time. But walks, just like you guys were talking about, lots of walks to get outside. Trying to think. I like redid my health curriculum because I had to be online. So like less fun stuff that y'all are doing. But just trying to keep kind of busy. We actually like puzzles. I love doing puzzles. I'm not very good at puzzles, but we've done like 4 already. So that's kind of what we've been doing to kind of keep a little active. A lot of baking too. So it's kind of like, it's fun stuff that you usually don't get the chance to do. So
yeah,
I know. I feel like it's like you get your schoolwork done, and then you do your homework, and then you do assignments that are due the week after, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, now what? And then you just don't know. So you come up with the most random stuff ever that you'd never think of doing. Like,
yep.
I voluntarily ran 3 miles with my dad the other day. Can I tell you the last time I did that? I don't know. But I did it. I did it the other day.
Or you're like me and you wait to put all your assignments until the very last minute.
Procrastination at its finest.
We have a fan question here from Jessica Notaro for Emma. She wants to know your favorite memory from Stampede Lacrosse.
Oh, geez, Jess. I gotta think about this one. Okay, so last year I, over summer, was injured. And I was in a boot, but I would just play tournaments. And we would have to get at the field really, really early. And I remember that one time our games got pushed back because it was so hot. And one of my coaches, because I got really close with her because I was injured. She would wake me up. I would come to the field and I'd be exhausted, and she'd wake me up and go, "Good morning, Emma. I love you," and scream at me. And that was probably my favorite Stampede memory. But
Awesome.
yeah.
All right. My next question for Emma and Kayla is, and also you already kind of touched on this too, just kind of, you girls are juniors, so everybody's talking about, the effect that this has on the seniors. And obviously it's really tough, losing your senior season of lacrosse. Even just the students who don't play sports losing their, the end of their senior year of high school is just, I can't imagine, just knowing, how close some of these kids are with their classmates and just having to lose that. But you girls are juniors, so how is this affecting you, school-wise, sports-wise, recruiting-wise, anything like that? How has this affected you girls?
I think it's difficult school-wise because this year academically is very important for us. It is the year that we start looking at colleges. We start getting no, not start, but we get our grades up. It's very important with your grades. And you have the ACT and you have the SAT, and some schools that you need to get into. I know that they're adjusting this year, but because of this, but a lot of schools need your test grades. And I feel like academically this is a very important year for us. And I know that it's hard for a lot of people to find the motivation. And I understand that colleges are looking at it in a different perspective now that this has happened, but it's still difficult when one of the most important years academically for you is you're sitting in your house unmotivated, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, I'm planning on going to John Carroll, and they need your test scores. And I know that a lot of schools are adjusting to this and everything, but I didn't get to take my SAT or ACT. Like, my prep course got canceled because of this. So I feel like it's frustrating and it's very difficult. Yeah.
Personally, like with hockey and like recruiting and stuff, like I have tournaments that we're supposed to be going to towards like the beginning of summer, and even looking ahead to the end of the summer, and like a lot of those could be canceled. So even though like I might have stuff figured out with like where I might want to go, it just makes it more difficult and more stressful with like actually figuring things out with the coach and like whether or not like I could go there or not. So like that part of it is a lot more stressful. And then like Emma said, like it's hard. Like our school, like obviously all of our exams are canceled, but I have an AP exam coming up, and I know a lot of other like juniors do too. And it's really hard when you're at home and you might finish your assignments that you have coming up for that class, but in terms of actually studying for that exam, like you want to, but it's just in terms of you're at home and there's no breakup between actually doing schoolwork and homework in like two different places, which I actually think like helps a lot when you're actually in school. So it's just hard to motivate yourself to like push yourself to do well in school. Like it's easier for me to want to go out and run because it has nothing to do with school. But yeah, I just feel like from that perspective, like it's really hard. And like also leading up to next year, like I feel like we were saying like before, like if this like doesn't come back and like if everything like works out, then that's great, and like we'll take advantage of everything that we can get. But if this does come back, it could also be really hard for us then as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also I know with travel sports, like I have been playing with some of the girls on my travel team for lacrosse for the past, I don't know, 6 years. And we might not have the summer season for like to play tournaments and just to play one last time with that team. And you never really expected that to be your last game. You never even expected it to go this. I don't think anyone was expecting quarantine to go and us to cancel stuff for the summer at all. And all of a sudden, like I'm being stripped of the season as a junior too. You know what I mean? And it's just really hard too when I've been playing with some girls for 5+ years and all of a sudden we don't know if we're going to play with each other again. And I think that that's very difficult. And I think that some people don't realize that for 2021s with at least with lacrosse, that this was our last year too. And I don't know how many more times I'm going to be able to step on the lacrosse field with that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so I feel like that's definitely very difficult to grasp the concept of.
Mm-hmm. And Kayla, for you too, I know, we talked about how this affects lacrosse, but, with you playing hockey too, I talked to a couple hockey players a couple weeks ago and, they were saying there's no ice right now. So, what have you been trying to do to, stay in hockey shape and anything like that?
I've mostly been running and like paying attention to like what I eat a lot more too, because like when there's no ice, you have to try your best. And then this is gonna sound weird. I don't know if you know what a slide board is, but it's basically like it's like a hockey training tool for like skating essentially. And then I have a net in my backyard, and like I go out there and I shoot like when I can, and working on stick handling and stuff. But obviously, like, it's not the same because when you get back out on the ice, like, you're going to feel like you've been walking on a boat for the past, like, 3 months. So, I just hope that we're able to get ice soon because, like you said, like, there's no ice. My tryouts were canceled. I haven't been on the ice in 2 months since states. And even for boys, like I know their state championships were canceled. Like we're lucky we got ours in earlier this year, but and like Emma said, like this is our last club season, and for us, like a majority of our like tournaments and stuff where we go away are in the summer, and that's also when a majority of recruiting happens. So we're just hoping that we can go where we can whenever it's available before applications go out and everything to colleges.
Yeah, I know it's not much comfort, but I think it helps a little bit that, at least everybody's in the same boat where, everybody's going to be rusty when you get back on the ice. And, college coaches are understanding of that too and understanding of what's going on. So at least everybody's in the same boat, but I know it's still pretty tough. We have another fan question here from Sam Stoddard. She wants to know your favorite in-game moment or play for any sport.
I think you got this one first.
Favorite in-game moment. Oh boy, I'm trying to think. I like 1v1s, and I know that sounds crazy, but when I just see a girl lining up to take me 1v1, and I have the ability that I think that I can take her and I can stop her, I think that that's one of my favorite things in the whole world. And I don't know why, but I do. I really enjoy 1v1s. I also enjoy because I play defense and you don't have the ball a lot. So I think I love I love having the ball. Like, I really do. And I love having the ball, and I love making transitions down the field with the ball and making a play, or if I cross the attack line. Like, I think the best feeling was I was in a tournament over the fall, and I rarely take shots, and I took a shot and I hit it bottom right corner, and I was just like, wow, like I would have never thought that I would have done that ever. So yeah. What about you, Kayla?
This is a very specific in-game moment for lacrosse, but it's from last year during one of our Mount games. And I remember I stopped a crease roll from Lois Garlow, and it made her so mad. And it was just like a really good feeling. Or just like stopping, like when people roll the crease in general in lacrosse. Like, I feel like that's a really good feeling because you're not really expecting for like when they shoot the ball. So like when you're able to like stop it like intentionally with your stick, not just like unintentionally with your leg, like it's a good feeling. Like, wow, I just did that. But yeah. And then for hockey, maybe like when you hit the pipe, it's like a perfect moment. But that doesn't happen often when you're a defenseman. So
I kind of forgot that I played field hockey for a second. Probably with field hockey is tipping. That's like the best feeling in the world. When you like are at post and someone hits a ball from like up top, and you just all that ball needs is a little tap. And if you get that tap and it's you're one of the reasons it goes in, that's a great feeling.
Very nice. Coach, do you have a favorite in-game memory? Did the sound might have gone out again? Coach, do you have a favorite in-game moment or memory? Can she hear me? I don't know if the sound's working. All right, we'll go to the next question. We'll come back to that. And this was something you kind of touched on too a little bit, just, the effect of this season on, going forward. But, what are your expectations going into next season when you girls are seniors?
I want to win states.
yeah.
When we win states. When we win states. Yeah.
I mean, like, I just feel like we're going to be a really strong team next year. Like, I mean, you can't really judge, like, skill-wise, but from what we saw, like, earlier in the year. And then, like, we're just going to be really close. So we're going to want to play for each other, not only ourselves. So I feel like that could get us, like, really far next year. So.
Awesome. I think that's all we have. This was awesome. This was super fun. Do any of you have anything to add before we close out here?
I just want to say thank you a lot for this, because I know that you really don't focus a lot on, like Catholic school, like girls' Catholic schools. And like, I just wanted to throw it out there to see if, you were interested, and you were. So just thank you a lot for this opportunity. It was really fun.
You're welcome. I'm really glad you. Thank you for reaching out to me too. I'm really glad you did. And next season I'll come out and try to make a game or two. We'll definitely do a season preview video next season, so we can plan on that.
Oh, perfect. That would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Well, thank you again, girls, for joining me. Stay on for a second here. I'm just going to close this out. And thank you, everyone, for watching. The link will be up again later if you did miss this live or if you weren't able to see all of it. So thank you again, and everyone have a great night.